Alright everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading back in for trial number 1 of Eternal versus Calamity. It's gonna be another Dredge Hawkins match. I'm your host, Little Regard. Joining me today is none other than It's Bubble TTV. How you doing, friend?
I am doing fantastic, Rue, and I am excited to see these two behemoth of teams clash together today. They are both really well established. We've seen them play a ton, and I am hyped for some good Dredge gameplay.
I couldn't agree more. I've seen a lot of Dredge this weekend, and I am happy to see more. It wasn't something we saw very often in the past couple seasons, and the fact that it's made a return and it's getting more popular is really interesting. There's a lot of crazy games and mind games going on. We do see Sloppy Butcher, which is going to come and play very shortly, as they will get this tag momentarily, which makes sense. A lot of these hit-and-run killers, big on the Sloppy Butcher, really powerful perk. I am surprised to see some of these other perks that will be coming up in a bit as, I'm used to seeing pain res so much, so when a killer doesn't bring pain res, it's jarring. But they did bring corrupt, so that is interesting as well. Bit of a split corrupt around the side of the top room. It looks like they find and split off to another survivor as that, again, we're seeing they are deciding not to break the pallets, which is quite interesting. Not sure what that's about.
Yeah, a risky choice. Again, we talked about it a little bit yesterday during some of the trials, but sometimes breaking or not breaking pallets can be the thing that wins or loses games for Dredge. So, I mean, a bit of an interesting choice, but we'll see how it pays off, Cotton.
Yeah, there's the teleport coming in. There's the Dragon's Grip going off. We'll have to see which way Saga runs to. I think they might have held the corner. Yeah, they are. And that is very much a Dragon's Grip eruption being in play on that generator. Have to see if they take advantage of it. I don't think they will. I think the scratch mark team got confused with Ace. That was so insidious. Yeah, now Saga goes back to this corner.
Yeah, bit of a long first chase. Survivor's doing a pretty good job here managing this killer, but I imagine we're going to be seeing things kick off into high gear pretty soon.
I would imagine so. Trying to get a hit in. I think it's going to be just a little bit. Yeah. Getting one tag onto Tori. First hit coming in. Not quite finishing one gen just yet. Curious if they're going to be able to stop this or not. This is not the save a pallet against Dredge. This might be the first down of the game coming in. Mind game coming in. They go down under the pallet. Is there someone in the wing to save? Dredge thinking the same thing. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to see them just stick to the generators. Yeah, they're gonna be pumping some generators. Look at that. Two different generators going. Excellent gen pressure from the survivors to meet this first hook, and we'll see how the Dredge is able to accomplish this, as Nightfall is going to be happening shortly underway. So just coming in with Saga around this. I appreciate the pre-swing, hoping that maybe it's a little generous, but not going to connect. One thing I've noticed is that hook is pretty far away, and they are actually going to cut off a survivor entirely from coming around and rotating for that unhook. I guess if you cat and mouse the survivors away, that's pulling more survivors off the generators in the meantime, right?
I mean, that's true. There's only one person left to be on the gens, and now someone else has to set up for this rescue, potentially.
Mm-hmm. I imagine we'll be seeing the unhook shortly. Yeah, they are going to snap around and get it. However, Dredge will be in hot pursuit. Poor A's body blocking the survivor. Like, please let me around you. Now, granted, I know that they are just wanting to take a BT hit, because BT hit's better than taking a fresh hit with the Sloppy Butcher play, but regardless, Nightfall will be in effect now.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunate that Ace did have to take that hit. With Nightfall in effect, everything was a little more difficult for survivors. Really nice smack from our Dredge. Tori going down, going right back on a hook.
Yep, but survivors do finish it in the meantime. They are not giving any quarter. And I think we have a bit of a lag situation, as that hook took a while to register, and Dredge was also contemplating the hook a little bit. Oh, survivors are in fact locking these lockers. Smart play from them. Locking both pairs, and Dredge will get rid of one of them. This seems pretty tit for tat, honestly. There's the 4 of the people coming in from Nia, though. That's okay. So that's why Nia was rotating in before, and that's why it was really good that the Dredge cut them off. But now, 4 of the people does get onto Saga, and I'm sorry, not Saga, Tari. And we'll give him a second shot. Actually, they're just gonna leave for Nia.
I mean, if you've seen it happen and you know that the 4 other people happen and you know you have a survivor there that you can get, you might as well slug them, see what else you can get done, you know?
Oh, that is an ingenious play. Did you see
Oh.
that? Using the killer instinct from Ace to, like, bead where they're gonna go and then cut them off at the locker. Massive play from the Dredge to get extra pressure, slugging Dan onto the ground and going for a first hook onto Hardwell.
Yeah, Obi not messing around. It was a pretty even game, as you said. Survivors and Killer both doing a great job, but no. Obi's over it, I think.
Yeah, that was a really good play, and it's gonna make things harder. It looks like, however, Dan actually has tenacity as they were able to recover and crawl to that pallet, but ultimately will still result in them being hooked. Wait, is this gonna be a... No way this is a double basement hook. They didn't send anyone in either.
Oh my god.
Now granted, he can't fully camp this because these are 2 fresh hooks. The survivors can just crank away on 2 gens and try and, you know, finish those 2 and then get outs. It's still good, but they are going to be able to interrupt this gen up top. Oh my word.
Wow.
The killer sense is insane. The macro play is coming out.
They do get someone down there, though, going for these rescues.
Yeah, body block
Not
coming
the
in.
body blocking on the stairs.
Working out pretty good, and they're going to be forced to go back down. And Neo going back down once again. Kari will take a tag. The macro pressure from this killer is amazing.
Wow.
Leaving him on the ground saying, I don't care, I want more. And all this time, that Nightfall is slowly ticking back up. Saga having to break away and take a hit. Nobody's on a generator now. As they see their tunnel target, this is so much pressure being exerted.
And especially with the Sloppy Butcher, everyone being injured, there's no easy resets coming in here. This is insane gameplay.
It really is, but here's the mind game at the pallet. Ooh, insane vacuum from Tari there. Making this chase last super long. Just vaulting. Oh my word, Nightlight's kind of going to ham on this pallet. Okay, I think Nightlight's in Obi's head.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Really well played on that chase so far. Yeah,
Really
no easy downs here. Tari running for her life.
But to say they really are, and there's even tier 3 Bloodlust kicking in. There's the Firecracker, and they will inevitably go down. This will be Death Hook. Checking that gen real quick, but it looks like the servers are just taking time to fully reset, which makes sense. They're about to go into the 3v1. What gen pressure do they have?
Yeah,
I don't think they have that much. You had the topside gen that got interrupted before the basement unhooks occurred. Eruption was applied to that generator.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That top gen had great progress, but unfortunately now is probably ticked way, way back. Survivors are going to have a lot of work to do now. Obi definitely made up for lost time earlier in the match and has a very firm handle on things at the moment.
Absolutely. I will say Nightlight gave their team a breath of fresh air with that chase, gave them enough time to reset. If that had been a really quick chase and a hook, they wouldn't have had time to reset. They would have been a lot more scattered and less confident. But as of right now, being healed up, they can take these chases a little bit more seriously, not have to worry about, you know, oh, I got hit, like it's over. They can actually, you know, they've got a second chance here. They got second win, but obviously that can still change on a dime. Really great pathing from the Ace, just making a lot out of these 2 pallets. Pallet does go down eventually. I imagine we'll see the break and the break off to a different generator.
That was some really great
instinct on this one.
I was gonna say, that's just some really great commentary, Rue. You predicted that so nicely.
It's like I've watched a bunch of Dredge games this weekend. Not that I'm mad. They have been super fun. But these Dredge games are also kind of chaotic in some cases. It's almost like watching Singularity with how back and forth and, you know, how much macro pressure you apply across the board. Looks like that one gen is a bit far away from where they want to... Are they trying to rotate around? I mean, survivors know about Dragon's Grip by now. They're not going to go back and touch it willy-nilly necessarily. Or they predict something else. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be working on this gen too much.
Huh.
I'm actually very curious what gens are being worked on. They're trying to get eyes on this killer. All right, back in the corner. Oh my goodness. Fogwise OP. Did you see that?
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness, I love Fogwise so much. That perk is so insane. And it looks like they do find a survivor inevitably. Looks like it's the Saga. They'll be cutting them off. No, they will not. The perfect lockers have been locked almost every single time. Really well done. Oh, I think they missed the scratch marks there, and Saga's going to get a little extra distance. But I imagine they'll be able to do the same teleport if they so choose. No, they will not. They'll just take the chase normally. Going back down the center of the map, going into the side room. Is this pallet even here? It is, and great tag across the pallet. Great 50-50.
Yeah, and these survivors have been doing a really good job of kind of making the most of the time they've got, making these chases last nice and long, allowing their teammates to get things done. But I don't know. Obi's got the scent, and I think, yeah, that Saga's going down, and now we're going to be in a bit of a pickle for our survivors. But they do have another gen ready to go.
They got 2 gens, actually. They had 99 his. This one's ready to pop as well. And that was actually what they did. Yeah, they're like, fine, I'll go to you. So one thing that in the Dredge's favor now, they did get a fresh hook onto Zaka, but I think they sense it. It's too late though, and they will finish that generator. The question is, what does the Dredge have left? I think you just try and camp this, but it's so close to the exit gate. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a bit of a tough spot for our killer. I don't know. It is fairly close to that exit gate.
Oh, yeah. But Nia will take a tag for it. And that does make sense. I think Nia is... Well, actually, both Ace and Nia are worth the same amount of... Honestly, all these servers are worth the same amount of points. Oh my goodness, she has Lucky Break in there, still keeping track of them. That's so impressive.
Wow.
Are there any pallets left? Is there any God pallet left on the map to get this Nia some reprieve? And I don't think there is. They will go down. Do they have time to get another one? No way.
Are we going to get a... Oh,
I was
man.
Ace was there. Ace was like, nah. Ace wants to keep this to 6 stages, not 8, but it looks like they're not going to get a choice. Again, unfortunately for the Dredge, there's no locker on the edge map, but they will be able to secure this kill here, most likely. Yeah, they're going to take their outs. It's not going to be a 6 stage. It is going to be an 8 stage as they get the Mori. Really back and forth game, kind of swingy. Survivors had a great start. A bit of even start. Then they had some pressure. Dredge had an insane comeback, but Survivors kept their composure and made it work. And that is an 8-stage game for the Dredge. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading back in for trial number 2 of Eternal versus Calamity. Eternal now picking up the mantle of the Dredge as Zaka's going to be piloting them. Nifty little corrupt on this side of the map and already finding a chase. Eternal has to 9 stage to win the game. 8 stages will secure a tie, assuming they are all fresh. And of course, 7 stages is not enough. So we'll see how Zaka performs. This might be an early hit, though. No, they still have a pallet.
Wow.
Pallets are infuriating.
Yeah, that was an incredibly fortunate setup for our Dwight here. Able to extend this chase for quite a bit longer, potentially.
I think you have to break this.
I was about to say...
Interesting that they're trying to mind game this, and Dwight actually leaving the tile setup altogether, going across the map. Interesting. Greeting this pallet setup. What's the play here? Going away from the tile setup entirely, going back? They get that stun.
That was disgusting.
It really was, and Dredge says, okay, I've had enough. No, they're trying to cut them off. Dropping this pallet instead. Okay, so a lot of resources in center are going to end up being used up. But I'm going to say, yeah, you have to break these pallets, my dude.
You got to break something, man.
Looks like they're going to be chasing Ace off with a gen at the... Oh, that was a great bait on the pallet drop.
Wow.
They will make it back into the portal room. Well, if they so choose. I guess they're just going to make it one loop around this, and then maybe they'll go to portal room. Survivors being really, really efficient on these chases. They will take a tag in the meantime, though. Question is, do they leave this? This could also be hit and run. They might also be trying a hit and run.
That's kind of the feeling I'm getting, although perhaps they're going to be staying on this Ace instead. Either way, Calamity Survivors are doing a really fantastic job of extending this first chase.
Yeah.
Because it is still kind of a first chase, you know. We haven't...
Look at these doors.
Haven't seen anybody go down yet. No hooks, no gens popped, but presumably they've got at least a couple of gens in the works ready to go. And they have also gotten that reset on the Dwight.
Yeah, exactly. As you're talking, Dwight got reset. They couldn't get through this chase on the doors on this wall. This has been a rough start for Zaka. And like you said, we'll have to see if the survivors are matching with gen pressure or not. Now, this room in particular is not where... They're just gonna stay upstairs! Oh my word. Survivor is a total demon right now.
You know, he's taking a look. There's a lot to see from upstairs.
Really is. Absolutely crazy.
Oh my
God. Rocket is going out of their map. Now, to be fair, we know Rocket, like, all the players on both these teams are well known. They're all top tier players. Rocket in particular is a demon in the 1v1s. So, really holding that mantle to it. And we're going to be going around checking out. It looks like 2 gens already done. Also a bit of a ways onto another. However, there might be a pain res coming in to try and stop it. No, it's a basement hook. I don't know if this is enough. I think you needed a pain res. And I think you needed to get us, like... yeah, they know it. They can't really defend this hook.
Yeah,
what's the gen splits? I guess the question.
Zaka's in a lot of trouble here. And those freaking lockers, man. Survivors are on top of it.
I'm about to say, break this. Thank you. Thank you for breaking this pallet. This... Ooh, nice swap beside the map. It is nightfall, so the dredge is in its most powerful form right now. And they will, I imagine, get a lot of power. Yeah, 3rd gen going down. Adam going to be leaving their area preemptively.
I don't know if you come back from this.
Dropping this pallet, great idea for use of resource. This will end up being a tag at the hook. And if the dredge is able to teleport and cut them off, they might be able to get the down. But, oh no, they're just, it's literally a trade. They're just going to go for a 1-for-1 trade. However, this could be the same result as last time. As if, why, oh my goodness, Ace has to be super careful here. If they go down, you've got 2 slugs again, and we've got the same kind of reversal of pressure of this last time. However, we'll see how Rocket's able to hold their own. They're going to be going down here in just a second.
Oh.
Are they able to pick up Hein, though, is the question.
I don't know. I mean, Ace got a pretty good amount of distance there.
Yeah, Dwight's going to be able to come and pick them up. But they've got to get out of dodge. This is not a safe spot for them. They're going to have to spend some time resetting. Rocket is now 2nd stage. Looks like Dwight will be in chase here momentarily. Most likely going to end up taking tag and going upstairs, but no, they're going to stay around on the bottom side. And I think they're just going to take a tag and be happy with it. Now the servers have to reset. Looks like an unhook's coming in, though, from Adam.
Wow.
I think they're putting a lot of faith that Rocket can make these chases last, because that was a quick pick.
Well, to be fair, if I looked at the names of these team players and I saw someone named Rocket, I'd be like, yeah, that's the one who's going to give me hell. So,
you know, that's valid. That is valid. And they've done a really good job so far. Going to the other side of the map where Portal Room is, there's no gens down here. This is where you want to take chase. We'll have to see if Rocket can make this chase last. Nightfall is approaching. All the survivors are injured. This is a pivotal moment. The dredge could snowball or lose it all here and now. Mind game's coming in. Rocket sees it, though. Is not going to be fooled.
Rocket playing so patiently and so smartly here.
I say, you're getting pinched off, though, at some point. They made that
Oh
work
my
somehow.
God. Insane. Rocket playing out of their mind.
They are, and we hear Yui there, too. They're here to take a body block, potentially.
Calamity was just, like, slamming Red Bulls before this. I swear.
It really feels that way. And once again, what am I watching?
Oh my God.
Rocket, you demon! Yeah, Yui takes the hit for them and says, fine, I'll take the pain res. But look at the gens!
Oh,
Pedro finishes one, Marco's on another. If this is not a pain res, it might be over. It looks like it is a pain res, though, which is a very much needed reprieve for the dredge. But is it enough?
I don't know. This is
Adam got cut off, though. We're talking about the Nightfall is super deadly. However, instant unpick onto Hein. Dredge looking for that gen, desperately saying it. I need to stop that generator. I know it was being worked on. And it's not this gen. They've checked every gen but the one that's being worked on. It's the center one. They're actually going to leave it. They're saying, fine, it's not worth it. And you know what? I kind of respect this play. Calamity's going for the long game.
Yeah. No, they're playing for outs here. They're playing so well. This is wild.
Yeah, they have played this incredibly precise. Taking the down, I'm not sure why. I'll be honest, I don't know why that is. I guess they haven't seen Eruption yet. They don't know better, but I think they're just saying, "Hey, let's waste as much time as possible. You're not a pain res anymore." Yeah, survivors are gonna go. Okay, let's finish this gen. The injured survivors. No, okay, the injured survivor's not closer.
He gets
takes the hits.
Oh,
this is gonna be such an intense end game. It's all on the line. They've got the gens primed and ready to go. If Ace trades here, that's actually good for them. They don't get the trade.
Oh no.
Okay, can you sacrifice these two survivors? Is that enough stages?
I don't know.
I'm doing the math in my head. So Rocket represents 1. Pedro represents 2. No, you can't let these two die. If these two die, it's a tie. And it looks like the survivors know it too, and they're gonna be sending in Yui to try and prevent it, as they are worth of the same stage as Ace.
Not able to get Adam off the hook on this pass though. Now they're in chase over here.
Uh-oh. They're both in chase. Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Are we actually gonna see a...
Are they gonna
Zaka 4K?
About to do the impossible here?
The end game fell apart. I think the survivors might have been a bit too greedy on that generator. Yeah.
Oh.
That is going to be a 4K 0 at the end. The survivors... I don't understand... I don't understand why you would take the body block there. I understand that you want to prevent the gen, but then it's like, then Eruption procs, then they know what's going on. You finish the gen, but you greeted it, and you left 2 survivors injured with 2 survivors incapacitated. Yeah, I think they played a little bit too risky there at the end. They played it so perfectly by the book before that I don't know if they should have risked it there at the end. Oh, that's crazy.
I don't want to downplay how well Zaka played this at the end, because Zaka played it perfectly with what they were given at the end. But Calamity kind of threw this away a little bit. It felt like it, yeah. From a caster perspective, not from like a player perspective, it felt like they really kind of threw that away, and they gave up a ton of pressure, and they as you said, they played really risky, and they made gambles that just didn't pay off for them in the end.
I think if they had figured there was Eruption in the game, which to be fair, I don't think Eruption had really shown that much this game. If they had known about Eruption, maybe they wouldn't have had Hein go take a body block for the hook. I'm really not sure about that play. I really don't know if I agree with that play, because even, like, say you didn't take the down, hook comes in, it's a pain res, say they go stop that gen from firing, well, then Yui unhooks and you reset and you're good. You still have 4 people. I don't know. I think that might have been a bit of an ambitious play, and it cost them. I
agree. But well done, Zaka, for capitalizing on that mistake. Again, DDD, it's a game about mistakes.
Right.
Who is going to make the most mistakes? And in this instance, somehow we're saying Calamity made the most mistakes when they had the most, like, dominating lead going into the end game.
Right.
Wild. Really great wall view we're getting.
Thank you, Wall, for censoring this absolutely brutal and savage Mori that is not fit for our eyes. But regardless,
I love Wall.
That will be Eternal taking set number 1 in spectacular fashion, and we'll be moving on to set number 2, which is another indoor map and another stealth killer, though a recently revisited stealth killer, one that we've all been anticipating. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading in for trial number 3. It is the return of the Shape, Michael Myers himself, and we're going to be seeing him on the Midwich Elementary School. Is this elementary school? Is it elementary, or is it?
No, I believe it's Midwich Elementary, yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, because we have, like, you know, oh, what's the name of those maps that all the killers hate because they're, you know, pain?
The Freddy maps.
Yeah, Freddy maps. Yeah. No, I forget. It's fine. Anyway, regardless, they do find their first chase, trying to get some stalk going. We do see double stalk add-ons, very reminiscent of the Ghoulish Gala, I would say. That was before the Michael Myers rework, and having double stalk add-ons actually paid off quite a bit. I'm curious if we'll see the same thing.
I am so excited to see Zaka on Myers. When I tell you you could not pay me to play against this, I am so excited. This is going to be fantastic.
I agree. Very curious. Very interesting build from Zaka here. Almost to tier 2 here. Pedro just leaving them without enough stock. Survivors are actually pre-leaving well in advance. Trying to stay out of range of that stock. Not wanting to give them tier 2 just yet, if at all possible. I don't know how long you can deny tier 2, though.
I don't know, but these survivors are doing a pretty good job. Having a little bit of a tough time finding anyone here other than the Atom. Listening for those gens from the top floor.
Yep. Oh, they find Yui here, and that will be tier 2 achieved. And that gen is pumping away, getting quite a bit of stock off of them as they run into the distance. Be able to come over here and kick the gen if they so choose. Interestingly enough, you'll notice that, like, the gens are yellow, but they stop turning yellow, so it's not eruption. And I'm pretty sure some keen eyes can see what's going on here. Also, Unforeseen is one heck of a perk choice, and I'm curious if they're able to get any value from it going to tier 3 and being undetectable. I have to see if it pays off for them. That's really spicy.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting build, but honestly, I trust in Zaka. I believe in the Zaka. I worship at the Church of Zaka's a very good killer and makes good choices. So I expect if anyone can get value from this, it's gonna be him.
Oh, it's machine learning. Oh my goodness. Zaka is zooming right now and undetectable.
Oh my word.
They don't get the hit, though. All right, Pedro's built him a house. Zaka's breaking it down. They're trying to get that hit with the tier 3 lunge and the speed. Oh my goodness. Pedro is going crazy on that pallet, and machine learning has ended. And unlike yesterday where they had the tuft of hair for the duration extension, we do not see that here. Oh my goodness, Pedro's playing this so patiently. Oh, I thought they left the... Yeah, Zaka did too. They thought they left. They do have Bloodlust 2 kicking in. This survivor is a demon.
This is wild.
They outlasted the entirety of tier 3. 2 gens have gone off. A 3rd gen underway. However, it is close to finishing. Oh, getting a little bit of stock from the distance. Playing a little bit of cat and mouse. Who is that back there playing cat and mouse right now? Is it Ace?
I think it is Ace, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Ace, you're so cheeky. But that is able to give them enough stock that they are close to tier 3 again. And if that gen completes, that's going to be another trigger of machine learning.
That was a hell of a chase, though, by Pedro.
For being 10% faster using the tier 3 launch. Uh-oh. Pedro, my boy, you have flown too close to the sun. Again, I think they were undetectable as they had kicked that generator. And,
yeah, I think you're correct on that.
Yeah, Zaka will happily take this gen. Looks like Pain Res hitting Renatu's gen. However, we see 3 different generators being worked on.
Oh boy. Yeah, survivors have been making the most of that long Pedro chase.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a huge problem for Zaka.
It really could be. Now, they are able to defend this generator and watch it regress a little bit. And if it ever does get completed, they do have the additional benefit of machine learning. I don't know why you would kick that gen.
I think
Unforeseen. They want to go stalking a bit more. Okay, interesting. I don't think the survivors are falling for it, though. Yeah, no, they just finished 2 other gens. The gens are quickly falling. And, we know the perks at this point. We've got Corrupt Intervention. We've seen Unforeseen get some value. Whether survivors called it out or not, I don't know. But I think they should have recognized what machine learning does. And Ace will get stocked up. And it looks like second stage will be getting confirmed onto Pedro here. Someone is working on that gen, though. And Natu will come in for the unhook after second stage is secure. So that's going to be another pain res. No. No! Oh, that's so unfair. Oh, that's so unfair.
Oh, my God.
That's insane.
Oh.
I think that was Adam the one with the firecracker?
Uh-huh.
I know that flashbangs are a bug. I don't think that extends to firecrackers, though. I think it's just the flashbang. So I don't think that was them taking advantage of anything. Again, if there was, we would have banned firecrackers, but that was just a crazy save. I guess what it was is that they didn't pick up right next to the wall, so there was, spot between them and the hook, possibly. But regardless, that completely resets their pressure. And survivors just hanging out, waiting for confirmation for any call-out for where that survivor is. This is exactly how you play stealth. Yeah, Hinatu has a tier 3 terror radius, and that's it. Survivors see that they have a shot here of really doing some damage, and I think they learned from their prior set where they kind of, messed up that end game, and they're saying, hey, we've got a shot here. We got one gen left. We've given him 2 stages on 1 survivor. Let's try and close this out. And I think that's what they're going for. They're playing it super safe. This could be a 10-minute end game here for this last gen.
I was gonna say, this feels a little bit personal. This feels like the survivors are trying to make up for the last game, which frankly I think is very, very fair of them. But this is wild. This is not what I was anticipating going into this match at all.
No, I completely agree. Now they do 99 that stock. Survivor not even on this generator, so they are splitting. This is a semblance of a 3-gen, or about as much as you can get on mid-witch potentially. However, we see both these heroes running away preemptively. I think they will gladly sacrifice Pedro here as they represent the least amount of hook stages. Hinatu, though, being the target here. However, we'll see how they handle these. Oh, that is not how you handle it. But they finished the other gen in the meantime. Okay, Zaka has a really tough ask here. You need to hook the survivor, and you need to get down. You need to stalk another survivor to get the tier 3, and you gotta make use of this machine learning ASAP. They are undetectable, and they have a chance to snowball here with the tier 3 and the final bits of undetectable.
Yeah, they gotta move though. They cannot take their time at all. This is very, very tense. I don't know if they have enough time.
With that tier 3 kicking in, they will be able to get one of these survivors. Tier 3, extra movement speed. This Myers is chugging. No God Pallet here for you, Yui. And they will be going down. Myers will be able to secure at least one fresh stage here. Potentially extras depending on how long this tier 3 lasts. They did open the exit gate. Are we going to see someone go upstairs for that unhook? They are. They're sending in Pedro. Ace being the lookout, waiting for the hook to be confirmed. Looks like they're hooking upstairs. But it's on the opposite side. I think as long as they move it, they should be okay. They should be able to get outs here still. But Zaka able to secure a fresh stage and get an additional 2 stages, or additional 1 stage off of that hook.
Yeah, that's a big hook for Zaka.
It really was.
That was tough.
But hey, they didn't get use out of machine learning early on, but that machine learning definitely paid off at the end, giving them an extra hook. If they didn't have machine learning, that would have been potentially a 3-man out, 4-man out with 3 or 4 stages instead of a 6-stage 1K, which is a lot better and respectable. And given you have a survivor squad like Eternal, you can probably ask them, hey, can you get that or tie that? Like that's a respectable result for Eternal to try and match here. All right, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading back in for trial number 4. It is going to be Obi piloting Michael Myers. And the win conditions are currently either 7 stages will get you the victory, 6 stages with 4 fresh. So if you hook every survivor and kill 1, that is also a plausible win condition. There are some avenues for them to win, but again, I can guarantee you Eternal is not going to make this easy. And We do see, instead of double stalk add-ons, we see the Myers Memorial and the Tuft of Hair, so that tier 3 is going to last a lot longer. And I think I like this a bit better than double stalk, just because they buffed the range stalk, and you've got these huge corridors that Michael Myers can look down. Though, with that said, no one has been found yet. I imagine survivors are holding corners and making call-outs.
Yeah, absolutely. These survivors are going to be playing it super safe here through this corrupt, trying to avoid chase for as long as they can. And here's the thing. I believe in Obi. And also, Eternal is Eternal. We say it all the time. Eternal is so good. And they will absolutely be doing everything they can to win this here.
Couldn't agree more, and we will have to see how that holds up for them. Oh, we do see a server in the distance. Not quite able to make tier 2, but they'll be 3/4 of the way to it. See more scratch marks leading down the side of the map. We do see a wild crossing ace. See if they're able to turn on this tie. No, they're going to duck into the side. So yeah, Corrupt Intervention doing a whole lot of work here as these survivors are not making... Oh, there's a Tori. Not making it easy to get the stalk going, but they are able to get tier 2 in the end.
It's always so funny watching Myers gameplay until they hit tier 2. It's a bit like we're David Attenborough watching the animals out in the wild, like, and here we see the wild ace briefly darting through the doorway.
Oh my word. I mean, if you want to like recast this, you know, on the side, I'll give you the video footage, and you can do an impression cast if you want.
Oh my god, it would be so funny.
But again, server's not making this easy. However, we do see someone going into the bathroom. Again, this is not the dead zone now that they opened this up a while back, so they are going to be holding on. Doing a really good job just making this really difficult for Myers to get going. Again, only one stock add-on, and it's going to be a little bit difficult to get that tier 3 going. But once he gets going, I want to say tier 3 lasts like 80 seconds with this add-on. I could be wrong. Also, just lining all these gens up with a eruption.
So much time. That's 80 seconds. I would be hiding in a locker crying.
Honestly, I do not blame you. Looks like we see, again, scratch marks. Survivors are in the business of pre-running like no one's business. However, we are slowly inching towards that tier 3, and we'll have to see if it's an explosive one or if it's like the first tier 3 last game where it just doesn't get any value.
Yeah, Survivor's doing an excellent job keeping moving, not giving up too much free stock, slowly starting to work on those gens. They're playing incredibly patiently, as you have to. Yeah, doing a great job so far.
They are indeed. And still only a very small terror radius. Still looking around, really trying to 99 in that tier 3 so they can commit to one of these chases instead of just, you know, loosely... I will say, this is starting to get a little scary if I was Obi here, just a little bit. Just because I really haven't gotten much pressure. Again, I know that Michael Myers takes some time to tier up, takes some time to get going. But this is getting kind of... Okay, they have someone more cornered here. And this is what they want to see. Moving into this back room. No head-on play. They do get around the corner for the stock. They got it perfectly 99.
Wow, nicely
And I imagine
done.
we'll be seeing that tier 3 come in here momentarily as soon as this pallet gets dropped. Blind coming in. Not able to get the blind. I think they were trying to go for maybe a champion of light just to give them more distance, but not going to work out. And now this eruption is primed and ready to go. I imagine we'll see the tier 3 pop any second now. Mine needs to get quadruple eruption in the distance. And Michael Myers say, nah, one of these in the locker. No, I don't think there's a locker here. However, multiple gens firing. Claudette is 99 ready to go, ready to take that pain resonance, while the other two are desperately cranking out another generator. That is what we see. The other two will be able to finish their gens. So it looks like we will see possibly 3 gens. Wait, hold on. Were these? They have 3 separate generators
all different
going.
gens? Oh my word.
But now there's going to be a long period of time where this Miss Myers has tier 3 and undetectable. They see it coming. They saw the gen turn yellow for trail. This survivor is kind of caught in a bad spot, though, potentially. Did they stealth?
I think they did. I think they're trying to stealth out, which
Where did
honestly,
they go?
A good plan.
They're in the vicinity. They've completely left. They have left the building. Wait, no, they found Claudette!
Oh my word. Oh.
Okay. I don't think that was intended. I think they missed a call out. Someone said, hey, they're still near me. Really heads up play, dropping the survivor saying, hey, I can confirm stage 2 with my tier 3 still intact. Oh, this is so many stages getting secured this early in the game. Again, I say early, there's 4 gens are left on the board. We know that 2 are heavily cranking right now. And I imagine they're going back and working on them. Yeah, we see one in the distance. Nia about to finish hers. Second stage is confirmed. Zaka will be picked up and going to a hook now. I imagine possibly a pain res. Could this interrupt this generator? It absolutely could. An amazing pain res position for this killer. And now they can, like, simply just... They've got line of sight on so many areas. They can camp this out. This is not a good spot for these survivors.
No, not at all. Myers may as well just set up a little shop here and vacation for a while because they're going to come right to him.
Absolutely. And the survivor is very tunnelable. However, they're going to be taking their time getting their stock out of them before they go for the kill. And everybody is off the generators once again after that pain res hits. They're not out yet. I've seen these survivors come back from scenarios like this that are dire. Amazing body block, but Myers can stalk right through it. I think they forgot. Going down, and that is going to be Death Hook coming in for Ace. Nuzzle flashbang. No, the firecracker's not in time. They tried. They had to try. They know, like, this is desperation mode. You've got 3 gens left. You have 1 survivor out of the game, and you've already got 1 survivor hooked. So right now, if you were to kill a survivor, if you were to kill Tari or Nia, that's 7 stages. That's more than enough to win. Survivors have to play out of their mind here. Oh, baiting the drop. Oh, I think they have enemies necessary with that. I have to know. Do you have enemies necessary? You do. Did you hear them fake the grunt and the killer fell for it? That was beautifully played. However, I don't think it's enough. You see Zaka working on a gen about 30% of the way done, and that is going to be Nightlight going down and getting hooked. And the killer still has so much progress left on tier 3.
Obi has just been playing this beautifully.
Yeah, this is kind of insane. Oh my goodness. I'm kind of speechless right now. They're playing so well. And you have Trail of Torment kicking back in again. Also worth noting, that wasn't a pain res on that survivor. They were just looking to get a hook. They find Zaka out here. Getting stunned, though, with the pallet. I'll have to see if they're able to take advantage of this tier 3 lunge. Going around the side to Zaka double back. No, they don't. They keep holding forward. Pallet is available, but this is not the safest pallet. You might be able... I don't know if this pallet is completely safe, even if you're on good ping. So they are playing this super well. However, now there's nothing in here. They have to run back into the other room. Tier 3 is going to be expiring soon, so if you can get near to come in for a body block, it would be helpful.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's around, though.
I don't either. Vaulting back over the top of it. Not able to get it, though. Okay, now I've got to ask some 1v1 experts. Is that pallet actually... Is it check spottable?
Zaka running out of their mind, not willing to give anything up for free here.
Oh my word.
Jeez.
They're in tier 3 bloodlust right now. And they do go down inevitably. And the question is, what is the generator progress? You see Nightlight with a good bit of progress, but Nia in the wing wanting to harass the killer a little bit, but they're just going to be stalked. So here's the thing. They're not out of the woods yet. They could still pull something out here, but it's going to be incredibly difficult, especially... Okay, I thought they were dropping down for no reason. Okay, so they dropped down. So what you're looking at here is the generators. You got 1 more left. There's a second stage. Honestly, all they have to do is camp this survivor to death, and they win. And given that you are Michael Myers, I think you can do that.
Yeah,
but they're going to be doubling up on this generator. Wait, they're doubling up on this generator up top. Here comes Michael Myers. 1 healthy, 1 injured. Okay, looks like they're going for Nightlight once again. I'll have to see if this pays off for them or not. Again, if this survivor somehow gets out, it's a tie. You have to get the survivor down and kill them. There is no other option here.
Hey, if anyone can do it, it's Eternal.
And Castra's Curse, they go down right at that moment, and now
You know, I'm feeling regret.
They want more. There's scratch marks here. They want more. They're okay. No, let's say if you take your hook, you win the set. I was about to say that. I appreciate the level of like I'm not content with this. I want more stages, but the win con's right there. Like I think your team would be screaming, just take the win con, please. We get that you are doing really well and you want more stages. Just get the win con. And yeah, we'll be seeing outs here as they are able to secure the win con in set number 2. Oh my word.
That was so on the break, you and I were talking about this and we were like, this is going to be almost like impossible. This is, you know, like Eternal is just so good. And they, you know, they set a pretty high win con. Like, I don't know if they can do this. Obi just came in and obliterated that. He was like, you know what? No, I actually have this in the bag and you all can go sit in syrup.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We're loading back in for trial number 5. Obi is cranking out Vecna the Lich on Family Residence 2. And we've seen a lot of Family Residence 2 this weekend. We kind of know some of the strats. We might be seeing some of that corner action. Survivor already being found. It looks like that might have been a balanced landing proccing early. Vecna trying to figure out what spell they want to use for this chase.
Say it with me, Rue. Lich, 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 lich. Okay. Wow.
Lich is saying no, as he is leaving that chase.
Jeez. Do you see what I have to put up with, friends? I get nothing here.
You have to put up with the flying Lich. That's what you have to put up with. Oop, that collision, though. Yeah, but I say, this killer is definitely something of a specialty killer. They've got a lot of crazy stuff. Crazy hit, though.
Oh!
But not going to get a whole lot of distance. That's going to be a quick down with a Sloppy Butcher coming in as well. Great play from Obi. And I don't know if Zaka was expecting that. Maybe they're hoping to dodge it. But yeah, they went just up high enough that those, was it the Legion?
Yeah, and Zaka was just close enough that they really didn't have any time to dodge that. That was beautifully played by Obi.
It really was, and good placement on that. Looks like Pain Res did go off onto the center gen, so they weren't able to complete the central one. We do see that Nancy is over onto the gen on the side of the map, and will be getting chased away from it, pre-dropping this pallet. And Glitch is just content to kind of sit here, watch these two generators. Ooh, we see a survivor's head poking out from behind the rock. One thing I've always heard and asked about is, do survivors, like, you know, go and look for, like, actually search the chest for items? And I'll be honest, I don't think they do, but I think some places just have rules against it.
Well, I'll tell you what, yesterday when we were watching Lich, I did see a survivor seemingly look at least through one chest because they had the gauntlets. So I think it really depends on the team and on the survivor and on how the match is going. You know what I mean?
You know, that's
because sometimes you just don't have time. But I did clock that yesterday, and I almost said something, and I didn't. But so I think sometimes.
Yeah, there's some items that are good for it. Looks like Nancy getting a body block, but they actually body block the survivor, so this is going to be a hook trade if they come in for it. And second stage is secured by Obi. Oh my goodness, I can't believe they actually pulled that off. That is so crazy.
Whoa. Yeah, Obi is not messing around. Obi is here to play and win this. They absolutely have a shot at it. This is, God, just watching teams like this, watching Calamity and Eternal play against each other, it's always so wild because it never goes exactly as you expect. There's always something that happens that's surprising and exciting.
Absolutely, and they will be continuing to pressure the survivor off of the generator. It is the survivor that is injured, so they're going to be sending 2 fresh survivors in, most likely to try and get this unhook. They will secure the unhook, but I imagine we'll see a quick tunnel out here, potentially.
It does seem likely.
There's the hand. Good dodge. Again, that is very hard to actually, you know, get going. And again, comp survivors don't really fall for it. And Ace coming in, taking a body block. And again, these body blocks are a bit rough as that is Sloppy Butcher. And then we continue with on foot, well, I said in the air against Claudette. Now you're back at the shack where you dodged. I think they might have called it that said, hey, we don't want to they don't want to chase that shack, you know, go to shack.
Yeah, absolutely. Claudette was able to get a ton of distance from that ace hit, narrowly avoiding being hit at the window twice. Absolutely giving Obi the business here. Zaka not ready to go out easily. 2 more gens going off in the distance.
Checking the corners. And looks like there is no one else here. This will likely be death. Yeah, and Zaka will be going to Death Hook now. But survivors are fighting back. 3 gens have been completed. There's still some semblance of a 3 gen unless this center gen falls here. This is... It looked like it was kind of dire for the survivors, but they definitely pulled it back with the gen pressure even after not being able to prevent the second stage from happening. So, while it does look a bit lopsided, I think these the players are actually kind of even at the moment. You got someone down, you got 2 more gens left. Usually the survivors would want there to be, you know, still a second chase, and you'd be trying to get like one more gen done, and then you're, you know, ready to get the exit gates. But oh, Dan getting hit there through the window. We'll see if they use flight or not here to try and catch up. These tiles around the side are T and L's, which is not the safest that you want. Oh, great mind game there from Dan though.
Yeah, that was a really great read from him. But oh,
you just had to hope that the skeleton wasn't going to hit at that exact angle, and that's not how it worked out. Spit's halfway on their generator. I imagine, yeah, it looks like Ari might be running away from theirs, maybe getting set up for an unhook, as the Lich does spot Spitz on that generator at main and will be pushing them away. That was a pain resonance too, I believe.
Yeah, Obi definitely not ready to give anything away for free here. Presumably, yep, getting that rescue fairly quickly, but I don't know. I don't know how long Ace is for this world.
Well, they got rescue before a second stage. They've got some time, and this is just wasting more time, hoping that they can buy enough time for Nancy to do their gen. I'm surprised they don't switch to the skeletons here and try and get a shot with that, but they also might just be going for fresh stages. They've got 2 survivors, which means only one of them is working on a generator. I think they're content with that. They can get this Tari down soon, too. You should be able to get a pain resonance, but no. Going to be getting away. Flight coming off cooldown shortly. I'm going to guess they want a fresh hook here because they want to spread the hook stages out. They're trying to go for a 6 stage, 7 stage with 3 fresh. Might be the situation.
I think you're exactly right on that.
Great dodge. As it comes through the window, though, that is enough to slow them down from crouching. Generator goes down. Looks like they're going in for the reset onto Dan. And this will be first hook coming in for Tari, which I think there's no real gen progress to speak of, so I don't know if this pain res actually does much. Unless center gen still has some progress on it. But yeah, you'll see that reset come in.
I think you're right on that.
Gens are somewhat more split, though. Main building gen being done means these 2 gens are close together. And the third one's a bit further back towards Tari, and I don't think it's as strong of a 3 gen for this killer. But now you've got a separate issue. I don't know if they would have rotated around that quickly. You've kind of got this choke point unlock, which makes getting back into Tari's area a lot more difficult.
Yeah, not to mention there have already been some resources used over here, so I don't know. This is going to be a really important chase.
Absolutely is. And oh, getting caught out here. That is going to be a tag onto Dan. Spitz going in for the unhook as we speak. Here comes the skeletons. Ah, it's a bit too far to actually get that. And they're going to be coming back into this tile. This is a much weaker... This is some interesting tile setup, and that's going to be a down, but this is where they want to go down. This is far back into the dead zone. However, there's actually a hook that spawned here. I just like calling out RNG, because I feel like at the end of the day, RNG is just a variable that players like this overcome. But this is not the best RNG for tile setup. You've got 2 TNLs in center. You've got an eye tile in the back. Yeah, like I'm not seeing any of the normal like crazy nasty jump tiles that survivors can take you on like 5 hours of looping. But regardless, looks like survivors are going to be rotating around. They didn't finish a heal on Tari, actually. Tari is injured, but it looks like they're going for the save while Nancy takes chase at the shack. So this killer, unless Nancy does like a 5-hour chase here, should be getting 4 freshes, which is really strong for the result for them. Staying at the shack. There comes Oh, that was such a heads-up play from the Lich, dropping down onto the staircase. So what they did there, they dropped down onto the staircase so that way their skeletons were more ground level, because obviously at normal ground level, when you launch it, the survivor can crouch and dodge it entirely. You don't have to, like, you know, split the difference between them. But when you drop down like that, you were actually able to stop that. So crazy heads-up play, but ultimately not enough, as they will go down inevitably, and that will be first hook coming in for Spitz. Looks like they are going for the full reset between Dan and Kexo, but again, that Sloppy Butcher, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have taken Sloppy Butcher on Vecna, but it's been doing some work. These resets are taking much longer. Instead of being able to rotate around, hop on a gym, they have to sit there, full heal that additional time before they can even make a move to go back into the center of the map.
Yeah, absolutely. I think partially because of Sloppy Butcher, I think we're going to be in for a little bit of a slower end game here.
Possibly, yeah.
Obi kind of has this on lockdown, and survivors are going to have to play very, very smart in order to make this happen.
Let's see, this could be a Legion right here, and it is double tapping!
Oh!
And their second wind on Spitz, but they're just going to go straight for the hook. They actually might be able to use Flight here to catch back up with them. Yeah, but they secure the death hook onto Dan. I was going to say, that hook placement, I don't know if Obi intended to put that hook placement there, but if they did, that is such a 5-head, 4-dimensional chess play to put them on an elevated spot, so when that unhook comes in, you have the Legion of the Damned ready to go, and you just are able to do that double tap. That was so insidiously played.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. Nancy, meanwhile, has gotten healed up from that second wind. That was wild.
That was one of the hits of all time. What?
It certainly was. Holy.
If I was Nancy, I'd be screaming in my mic right now.
I know,
What
I'd
is
be
this ping?
so pissed. That was crazy.
That was a very generous hit, and honestly, things looking kind of dire for Nancy. Now, I think they could just be waiting for Legion to come off cooldown, because I think with Legion, they're like, yes, they're waiting for the cooldown to come off so they can pop this Legion, and then Nancy knows it too. It's like, okay, I gotta go. Okay, so what happened there is the skeleton spawned just behind Nancy. And that is an issue. Getting the proper placement, you actually have to stand back just a little bit more than where they were. They were a little bit too close to Nancy, and so the skeleton spawned behind them, and therefore they didn't get the down there. That was almost perfectly done, and even the most experienced Lich mains still have that problem.
Spitz out here doing the Nancy players right, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nancy's, we say it all the time, juiced out of their mind, and Spitz is no joke. Spitz is also doing an incredible job running here, buying so much time for their Tori, stalling for so long.
Oh!
Oh!
We saw that happen in real time, and Nancy, I think, thought they were low enough that it wouldn't hit.
Yeah, I thought they were too.
Oh, man.
This poor Nancy.
Kexo's very close to this generator, but I think... Is there a pain res left? No, there is not a pain res left on Spitz. Yeah, there's no pain res left at all. But now you might be in the last chance. This being a 4K1 might be the most wild result. I was not expecting this.
No, this has been some wild gameplay.
It really has. And there we see Kexo running for their life to the other side of the map. They do go down. Sorry, yeah, they do go down. They do end up going down to second stage, or death stage. And now desperately flying back. I guess this is the play here, right? You go there, and now you close the hatch, and now you try to stealth out. Yeah, generally the exit gates are pretty bad, but I think... Oh, I didn't even... I'll be honest, I completely forgot this killer had no ed.
Oh. Yeah.
And in the end, honestly, I don't even think they needed no ed in the end. It just helped make this chase end up faster. And that is a 4K1 for Calamity's killer. And now we get to watch Tari be degloved. That is a savage Mori. That is a savage Mori.
I don't see it very often. I always freaking forget, man.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are loading back in for the final trial of this match. I can't believe it's gone to set 3. This has been a huge back and forth fight from these two titans of teams. And now it is all down to this. Can Nightlight 4K1 on Vecna, or will the survivors get the 5th gen done and the bell tolls for this match? I was telling T behind the scenes, I feel like I feel like Nightlight on Lich is kind of like the final boss that you dread facing, but we'll have to see how it turns out. Dodging the Legion of the Damned and taking attack into the back. T, are you shaking like I am right now for this?
I'm so excited. My adrenaline is going. I mean, both of these teams are phenomenal. Calamity and Eternal have been around for a while. We know them, we know the players, and they are all really good. This is a big ask for Nightlight. If anyone can do it, it's gonna be Nightlight, but I'm worried. I don't know. Calamity set themselves up for success here.
They really did. Ooh, great mining coming in, and all intents and purposes, good chase from Oscar, but very quick chase in the end. We'll have to see if they're able to get a generator done, doubling up on a TNL gen in the side. Are they able to finish it in time? They're committing to it. They think they've got the time. They do finish the first gen, and Doc working on a gen. They will take the Pain Resonance in the meantime. Craft Intervention has expired. Pain Res has taken a shot, and there is more than one Scourge Hook on the docket, as they are well aware. There's also... I go blank on this name, but I know it is really annoying in the pubs meta, because it's almost always paired with leverage. Gift of Pain. There we go. It's Scourge Hook Gift of Pain.
Man.
Also, no Sloppy Butcher either, so looks like they're going to be using Gift of Pain in place of that. Unhook coming in onto Oscar. Rocket taking chase. They're going to stick at this tile, and Vecna's just going to pick it up, and that is going to be a really quick chase onto Rocket. They are showing how good they are on Vecna here.
Yeah, 100% Nightlight is locked in. Also, do you think they take returns for Gifts of Pain? Like, if you have a gift receipt, do you think you can... I don't want it, so...
Yeah, no, that's valid. I definitely wouldn't want it either. I want some return to sender. Another Pain Res hitting Doc's gen in the meantime, though.
Maybe we double it and give it to the next.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing here. So it is, in fact, what we're calling out. Vecna taking a page out of the pub meta that people hated for the longest time. Gift of Pain leverage. So these unhook heals are just going to be like, you know, pulling teeth.
Yeah, Nightlight is not messing around.
Oh my word, they did it! They had the timing down! That is,
wow.
I would be so scared to do that.
That was brave.
It really was. Technically, you have that timing, but it's so precise that they actually pull it off. Not getting the hit, and instead looks like the auto coming in. Legion of the Damned still off cooldown. Rocket able to take the body block in. Vecna says, you know what, fine, yeah, we'll take chase, but their spells are on cooldown.
Oh no. Rocket making it over here to Shaq. Not a place I'd want to be chasing Rocket. Rocket can run like the best of them.
Absolutely. They'll flight off cooldown now. They have Legion and Hand up as well. Great last second shift, but I think Rocket was prepared for it. Here comes the Mage Hand, picking it back up immediately, and Rocket will be going down momentarily. Second gen does get finished, though. I don't think there's a survivor in the wing. We'll have to see what pressure there is. Oscar about to finish the third generator, and Hein 1/4 and 1/3 of the way on their own. No Pain Res coming in, as Pain Res has already expired.
Rude, this game is moving at lightning pace. This is going so fast. Gens are flying. Survivors are getting hooked and chased left and right. This is going to be down to the wire. This is about as exciting as it gets.
Absolutely. I'm about to say, I think the Lich understands that it's going to be really hard to keep a 4th gen from firing, but at all costs, they have to keep that 5th gen at bay, and we'll see if they're able to pull it off. I will say the gen situation for them is not great. It's a little bit more spread out than they would like, but again, you might be able to still pull this off. I don't think they're like, you know, completely out of the game yet, but this entire time, Hein has been cranking on their own generator, and it looks like they found Jake, which is, I think, is on a separate generator. Yeah, so they've got the 4th one underway, 5th one in the side, and this is gonna be a really tough game.
Yeah, Nightlight's got to make it happen, and they got to make it happen immediately.
Absolutely, and we see that 4th generator finish. Jake's gen being the only one left. They take a tag, and I imagine they might run to main building here. Light coming in, making sure they don't get nearly as far away. They're gonna stick this out. They're on the short side of it. Legion coming in.
Dodge.
Oh, how long can they make this last, though? Missing
Long
over the
enough!
pallet!
Oh my god.
And then they're running to the next area. Yeah, you cannot take chase of this. You know that it's too much. But the problem is, you've got Jake's gen. This is an insane gen split. What are the gens like? They're taking their time. They're resetting. Survivors are like, you know what? We don't have to risk it. We don't have to breathe these gens. We don't have to pressure them. We've got time. We're going to reset. We're going to make sure we play super methodically. We are going to make this as grueling and painful of an end game for this last gen as possible.
No, Calamity wants the win here. They know that they had a rough first
Look at Doc
set
on the
of
gen.
games, and they are ready to take it here.
Killer knows it too, says, hey, I'm not chasing that for not to right now. Yeah, Survivor's coming in to reset. I don't know if it's in time. They finish it!
Oh my god!
That is the 5th gen complete from Doc.
Oh my word. Calamity out here playing out of their minds, making up for that crazy first set that they had. This is wild.
It absolutely is. And you mentioned the first set. We knew that that first set was super close and ended up kind of being something that Calamity lost control of. But in the end, keeping their composure, not letting it get to them, and instead pulling it back. I don't see many teams lose the first set and then win the next two back-to-back. Impressive display from Calamity. And again, Eternal can't be discounted. They played really, really well, but Calamity just came and they played better today. They played so incredibly well.
That's the thing with these top 2-3 teams. Sometimes it's just who plays better on the day. Eternal is always going to be incredible, but sometimes they get outplayed, and Calamity just did a fantastic job. First of all, what a gift to be able to watch this third set.
Absolutely.
But, oh my word, just well played by everyone who played today. That was fantastic to watch.